All right, here we are on beautiful Fort Peck, and I am very excited about the day. I've heard from all my friends that have been out here, you have to go out and try to catch lake trout. So I figured what better way to do it than to share it with a couple friends that have never done it either. So I invited my two buddies out, Kade, Lynch, and Ouellette, a couple fish wolves that love adventure. They're from Bismarck, North Dakota. They're used to fishing walleye tournaments, but today we're gonna try to conquer the lake trout. So we're gonna basically just drive out there, graph around on the deep structure that Fort Peck has to offer, and drop some paddle tails down and see if these lake trout wanna play.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite. Yes, we did.
Fort Peck is a giant reservoir on the Missouri River located in northeastern Montana. Relative to its size, it receives very little pressure because of its fairly remote location.
I'm gonna get you dialed in, buddy. And then we're all gonna be wishing we had the same Berkeley rib shad as you.
That makes the fishing really good, especially for lake trout. Lake trout are aggressive feeders. Finding the bait in deep water is a great place to start.
We're out here on Fort Peck in mid-September chasing lake trout. Now what John has shown us is that these fish are relating anywhere from 90 to 100 plus feet of water. These fish are cold water fish, and plus we're marking tons of bait out here. Now what's the coolest part about this fish is that in no less than 2 to 3 months they will be up spawning, but if you're out here and you find yourself on Fort Peck in mid-September, a good spot to start is 90 to 100 plus feet of water.
What do you got going on over there?
This one's got some weight to it.
Serious?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's a heavy one. Grab that.
You know what? I'll net this one.
Yeah, cool.
Let me try netting one of these. What do we got going on right here?
I don't know. I'll tighten that down a little bit.
That looks fun.
It is fun. Look at that.
Is this the most fun you could have on a lake? This thing does not like the Ranger boat.
Tighten it up a little bit, but I mean, it's tight.
Yeah, you're still 50 feet down.
Yeah. I mean, we're tight. Oh boy.
I could not wait
I'm
to see
sore.
this fish.
You know, I've never really got tired fighting a fish before in fresh water.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I know, this is like salt water.
Oh boy. Come on.
What's hurting more, your wrist or your elbow?
Oh, the wrist. I might need to switch the rod over. Oh, we're at the leader? Okay, I'm calling. He's.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really big lake trout.
You ready?
Hello!
That's
Wow.
That's a good one. That is a monster.
Finally a fish for this net that I own.
Holy cow.
My goodness. That's a nice class of lake trout. Choked it too.
Wow, that is a monster, T.O.
Amazing.
Congrats, buddy.
Look at that thing.
Look at the bait in that mouth. Absolutely inhaled it.
That was amazing battle.
Oh boy.
You got a pliers? You want to grab that thing?
Yeah, get that out of there. I mean, he absolutely choked it. There's no question about that. One little pop, and he's off. Comes off that easy.
Wow, nice work. That is a
good fish.
giant. I'm
There's no-
not gonna lie. I'm really jealous right now.
I mean, I'm sore and I'm excited because this is a once in a lifetime fish for me. I mean, I don't know when the next time we'll get out here is.
No, don't. All right. I apologize. I'm gonna have to let your lake trout go now because I really need to catch one of these. Wow, what a giant. Nice work, my man.
Thank you.
See ya.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Precision Trolling Data, the authority for crankbait diving depth information. Fishing the expansive deep flats for lake trout is a great opportunity to dive deeper into the settings on your electronics because the depth creates a much more notable difference when changing settings.
Kade, what do you got going on up there?
I'm watching Tanner work that one. Don't you worry about me, mister.
Using the right setting at the right time helps break down such large expanses of water more efficiently, so you can avoid the areas with no fish.
We're out here on Fort Peck using 2 different frequencies on our electronics. And you can see here we got 83 kilohertz. We use this to search for these fish because it gives us a wider cone angle in this deep water. Then once we find these fish, we go to 200 kilohertz, and this really dials in our cone angle so we have an opportunity to watch our electronics, and it helps us catch these fish easier. So next time you're on Fort Peck, try 83. It gives you an opportunity to see these fish at a wider cone angle, and then go to 200 to really dial in your presentation.
Oh, there's a bunch of them on the bottom.
Guys? Oh, I got it.
What you got going on up there? Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Kind of snuck that one in up there. Wow. Look at that thing. Oh boy. Did it just come flying up?
There were 3 marks and it just came up and hammered it.
It's like saltwater fishing.
This is awesome.
I'm
These
so
fish are
jealous
just
right
so
now.
strong.
Oh boy. Nice.
There we go.
Nice. Wow, that one choked it.
Good work.
You tricked that thing.
Yeah.
Hammered it.
You might need pliers for that one. No pliers? Nope. See if you can get it right now. Oh yeah.
There we go. First Fort Peck lake trout.
Wow, nice one, dude.
Just
That's a
an
good one.
awesome fish. They're just so muscular.
He was just digging you, and it's not even one of the bigger ones, but
That one didn't like the takeaway game. Huh?
Yeah, no, he caught up to it pretty quick. I couldn't even reel fast enough.
he choked it.
You better get back down there. There's another one.
There's no
We're
question
gonna let
about
this
that
one
one.
go.
Let's get that one in the water. Oh, wanted to go right away. Still have some fight there.
Piece
Good work,
of
buddy.
cake.
Awesome.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
For the past 2 seasons, I've had the ability to spend a lot of time in this Nitro ZV20 hull, but I really want to cover 2 of them that we spent a lot of time on in the design of this hull. The first would be the back setup here for rod holders, or for your accessories. Basically having the ability to have a track set up on top of the gunnel along with a chambered in rail. So if you're a fan of rail rod holders, you still have that. If you're a fan of track rod holders, you have that as well. But one of the things that we did with the top cap of this ZV20 is that we made sure that we built up, you'll almost see this little hump right here. And what that's done is it's allowed us to have built-in extensions in the rod holders. Typically you see those rod holders toward the front of the boat are gonna be higher, the ones toward the back are gonna be lower. So very, very cool setup in the back. The next thing I want to talk about is something that I think is extremely important. It's ease of rigging and it's cleanliness once things are rigged. But there's a heavy-duty friction door on the front of the consoles, and your fuse panels and all your wiring is done right here. So 2 different features. Your setup for your rod holders, your rigging setup are just 2 things that I think are great things for all anglers that might want to look at a ZV20. So if you're in the market for a 19, 20, 21 foot, some 22 foot fiberglass boats now, definitely pay attention to the ZV20. Between the performance and all the fisherman-friendly features in it, I think you're really going to like what you see in this specific package.
Making yourself more efficient on the water is a very important part of the equation to catch as many fish as possible.
I like to put a little dab of glue up on the collar, and that way, when I got my favorite bait on, those pesky lake trout aren't going to steal it from me. So lake trout have some pretty good teeth. They're actually little grabbers. They're used to eating big meals, hanging on to them, and maybe turning them around and eating them. So they're pretty tough on paddle tails. That's why I always like to use some glue on it. And that way, you know, a bait like the Berkeley rib shad can last for, 6, 8, 10 fish even.
Not having to stop fishing to adjust the plastic or put a new one on means a lot more drops on fish at the end of the day.
Chasing me up. Here we go. On.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
Wow, that looks like a real one.
Yeah, heaviest for me so far, for sure.
You've been playing it down for a while, huh?
He chased me up and down about 3 times. On that 4th time, he committed.
Is this one
He
of those,
just came up and
is this one of those ones that makes you sore?
Yeah.
That looks pretty heavy.
It's not the lightest fish I've ever caught.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is a nice one.
Oh, he's gonna keep
Oh,
coming.
Oh
Here she
man,
is.
look at that
There
fish.
she is.
Oh boy, get him! What a hog!
Is that your biggest lake trout?
Oh
My goodness, dude! That thing is huge!
That is awesome.
Want to get that over there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
What did that thing bite?
It's,
Yeah, these are-
That was the hollow belly?
yeah. Yep.
Wow.
They got so much energy.
She's got a lot of fight left in her.
Yep. She's out.
Fort Peck for the first time.
Look at that fish.
We got a lot more
Oh
down
my
there.
goodness.
What a giant.
The fight is just something you'll never forget.
They're all competing down there. Maybe we should catch some
Oh,
more.
yeah, let's let her go and let's
do
get
it.
down there.
Let's do it.
Let's let this baby go.
If I've learned one thing about lake trout in my kind of short lake trout career, it's that speed thrills. So we've just been using a couple different jig heads, and they're really big actually. They're 1.5 ounce to 2 ounce jig heads. That's been our hook on this presentation side of things. The other part of it is really important also, and that's just the fact that it's a paddle tail. A paddle tail, when you're reeling really fast, gets a lot of tail action. It's all the trigger you need to make those fish close the deal. As far as color selection, we've really only been using 2 different types of colors. One of them is a 5-inch Berkeley hollow belly. The other one is the rib shad. Both big paddle tails that get their attention. The other bait that I've been using a lot is just the oyster shell colored. So white is by far the most historic lake trout color of all time. So we had to put a white one on also. So next time you go to Fort Peck and try for lake trout, you can really kind of simplify things. Put a big heavy jig on and a nice big paddle tail, and I guarantee you, you'll be giggling as much as we have been.
Get him.
Oh, here she comes. Got her! Wow, that thing was like 60 feet off the bottom. Just flying up.
I think they're all fun.
Definitely fun size. I can see why people do this. It's a nice sized one. Wow. Oh yeah. Did it! Nice!
Awesome.
Wow, that's a beauty.
That's a good fish.
Wow. Wow, the bait came out. Try to hold that puppy for you. That's a nice class of lake trout. I can see why people drive so
Exactly.
far to get out here now.
Exactly.
I mean, this is like the ultimate video game fishing in what, 100 feet of water?
Yeah.
And
they just hammer it.
you can't
too.
even reel fast enough to get it away with a 300 size reel.
Oh, amazing fish.
All right, I'm gonna get her back. All right, back to the depths.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Precision Trolling Data, the authority in diving depth info. And Power Pole, total boat control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
Anyone that knows me knows I'm big on maintenance. It doesn't matter if it's the vehicle that I drive around in, but especially when it comes to outboard engines, because at the end of the day, these need to get us back to shore. And for me, especially in tournaments, I need to get back on time every time. And I always like to know what's going on in there. And often enough, the maintenance schedule on these is 100 hours. Same with I run a 400 Verado, but I often change my oil, in between events. It might be 30 to 50 hours on that oil change. But I think this is very important to have that early maintenance schedule done on it, especially having a dealer tech go through it. On the gear case side, because that gear case is running a very small amount of fluid. You're never gonna know until something happens or you get your oil changed. And so that's why I like to do it very frequently. But what it also does is it's cheap maintenance. Oil is very inexpensive compared to what could be the alternative. So it's one of those things where I always like to keep an eye on it. Maybe it's checking the oil frequently. On these new V8 engines, they make it very easy with this access panel here on the top, that I can get right to my dipstick very easy without pulling the cowl. So it's just one of those things to really understand how your motor works, what the operation is, but also going through it enough to trying to catch a problem before it's a major issue and you might not get back to shore when you need to.
Lake trout are extremely aggressive feeders, so having a musky fishing mindset is a major advantage. Like musky fishing, it can come down to the fine details when trying to convince a laker to bite. Lake trout offer a much more target-rich environment, so if you pay attention to those fine details, that will lead to sore arms and smiling faces.
Favorite thing about lake trout fishing is how much these fish are just like muskies. I learned a long time ago when I started muskie fishing that it was really key to make your bait get away from the fish. And when you got the timing right on it, you'd end up having really big bites versus fish nipping at it. Lake trout are no different. Really, the key things to think about are the fact that if you're a Cisco or a Tulabee in this case, down on the bottom and a lake trout's coming up to get you, you're not just gonna sit there, otherwise you're gonna get eaten. So I start with that thought process in my head. I'm really staring at my graph the whole time, working my bait near the bottom. The second that a fish mark shows up, I like to run my reel really quick. And if I can get reaction out of that fish and it starts closing in, I'll add even more speed. And a lot of the times, it's about as fast as you can reel is the speed that triggers that fish to bite. So there's a little bit different timing to it also. If that fish closes in and then you start getting a little distance away from it, that's when I open up the reel, let the bait free fall as fast as it can, watch the fish follow it down, and then the game of takeaway starts again, and I start reeling it away again. The last little trigger move, right as that fish closes in on my bait, I add a little bit of twitch and one gun of the reel, and a lot of times that's what closes the deal. So next time you're out lake trout fishing, just keep that simple thought in your head. You gotta play the getaway to trigger these big old lake trout into biting, and I guarantee you, you're gonna have a blast just like us. Oh, here's one. Big one. Holy cow, it's flying. Oh, got it!
You got net? You got net? I got net.
Wow, this thing came flying! Oh my goodness, this thing is huge!
Good fish?
Yeah, reminds me of ice fishing, but I got a way better rod this time. Oh,
Where you at?
this reminds me of saltwater. Oh, I see color. Holy cow, look at this
That's a
thing.
good fish.
That's a salmon.
That is a salmon.
All right, no, yeah! Cow, that thing is huge! Dude.
A salmon.
Wow.
That is awesome.
It came out.
That is awesome.
My goodness, I have never caught a king salmon on a spinning rod. Holy cow, look at this thing. My goodness, look at that thing.
Buddy. Awesome fish.
That thing came flying off the bottom. I thought we were lake trout fishing. And then when it came up, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a king salmon.
Can't really complain about that.
Oh, don't. All right.
Oh my goodness.
If there's salmon out here, I'll take those all day. I think we gotta release it. This thing's like one of the coolest fish I've ever caught.
It's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna let her go. King salmon. Let's see why they call them kings. I don't know if people usually release them, but we do.
Awesome work, man.
Salmon, that it? Holy cow, this is huge. Dude.
A salmon.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That came out.
So in here you got 200, I had it on 200, sorry. So, and then once we get and find these, I'll go again, to look for these fish, restart.
We're gonna let her go, or him, whatever it is. See ya. Kade, how have you not caught one?
There's a big fish on bottom.
I've been watching Tanner work on that one.
Well, you don't worry about me there, mister.
You are the most productive bait in the boat, mister. Yeah, mister.
Don't mock me.
Catch that thing, dude.
I'm coming down.
Wow, that one just cracked it.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that one counts.
I activated for you, know?
The Next Bite would like to thank Cottonwood Inn and Suites in Glasgow, Montana. It's all about Montana hospitality at the Cottonwood Inn and Suites, Montana's premier hotel and convention center. Cottonwood Inn and Suites is located just 17 miles north of Fort Peck, one of the most beautiful, uncrowded havens in the United States. If you're looking for more information on Cottonwood Inn and Suites, please visit cottonwoodinn.net or call 406-228-8213.